Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Knight. I'm the president of the IAMCP Boston chapter, and I'm helping to facilitate today's webinar. I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us today for this event. Don't underestimate the influence of the IAMCP. Before we get going, I'd like to mention a few things. First, this webinar is being recorded. If you don't wish to participate in this recorded event, you should leave the webinar at this time. Next, we have a full agenda today. So to keep things on schedule, we'll be holding a Q&A session at the end of the webinar itself. Throughout the webinar, if you have a question, please post it in the chat panel and it will be addressed during the live Q&A at the end. To kick things off, I'd like to learn a little bit about our audience here today. So we have 3 quick poll questions for you, and I'm going to launch those now. The first question, how did you hear about the IAMCP? And you have a few options here, from attending Inspire, social media, another Microsoft partner, via Microsoft, or other. And we'll just give it a few minutes for people to answer those questions. Looks like we're about at 60%. One more. I'm up to 86, almost there. All right, it looks as though most of you, 50% is via Microsoft. Love hearing that. Let's see. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's launch this one. Are you an IAMCP member now, or have you been in the past? And the options are existing member, past member, or you've never been a member. Let's see. Got over 75 voted. Let's give it a couple more minutes. All right, quite a few of you are existing members, but we have a lot that have never been a member and a couple of past members too, so that's great. And finally, launch this one. If you know, are you a managed or an unmanaged partner? And the options are managed partner, unmanaged partner, or you just don't know. All right. Up at 7682. Great. We will close this one out now, and it looks like about 50% of you, 43% are unmanaged. So it's very interesting. All right, close that one now. Thank you for participating. Let's see, we're just going to have a quick look at the agenda before we move on. Following this, we're going to do the introductions, then we're going to move on to the meat of this presentation, which is the fireside chat. Then we're going to give you some information on how to join the IAMCP, and then, as I mentioned before, we're going to open it up to questions. So with that, I'd like to turn things over to Jeff Goldstein. He is the IAMCP president for the Americas, which includes the US, Canada, and LATAM. So Jeff, it's over to you.
Yes, Sandra, thank you very much. And that was excellent feedback from the polls. And I'm very happy to see that 43% of the people who are participating in this event are unmanaged partners. And at the time when I joined the IAMCP, I was an unmanaged partner, and I wanted the opportunity to be able to meet Phil Sorgen, because at the time they were making changes to the MPM program, and I wanted to communicate some feedback. So the only way that I was able to get to meet Phil was through the IAMCP. And what I did was, at the time, I went to the Worldwide Partner Conference, and the IAMCP was holding these executive roundtable meetings, and at the time they held 2 or 3. I registered for the Phil Sorgen executive roundtable, and the only way to get into that meeting was to be able to be an IAMCP member, and I was in a room with Phil Sorgen and maybe about 15 other people, and I got to solicit feedback directly about the MPN program suggested changes to Mr. Sorgen, and he had acknowledged the suggestions that I had made and actually took note of it and made changes to the MPN program. So that's the power of the IAMCP. And for the majority of the people who are on the call today, if you're not a managed partner and you want to be able to get in front of Microsoft executives, the best way to do that is through the IAMCP. And just to mention a couple names of people that I've become to know and become familiar with who are Microsoft executives and employees, and this is through the IAMCP, and we've expanded these executive roundtables at now what we call the Inspire event, is a very impressive list. So Brad Smith, who is the president, chief legal officer, I know him personally. After Microsoft was influential in helping passing of the Cloud Act, the day after he was in the Microsoft New York office, I was there also, and he actually stopped at the coffee machine to speak to me and thank us and the IAMCP for their assistance in helping promote the Cloud Act. So that's an example of, getting to know Microsoft executives on a one-on-one basis. Brad knows me by first name. He knows who I am. He knows I'm associated with, the IAMCP. And if it weren't for the IAMCP, I would never get that close to Brad Smith. And the same holds true for Gabriella Schuster, Kirk Delbenny, Stephen Guggenheimer, David Willis, who I consider a personal friend, David Smith, Toby Richards, Brett Combest, who originally was on the West Coast and now, manages the One Commercial Partner. He's the general manager for, all of the U.S. I met him through the IAMCP, along with, and you'll hear from him today, our own Justin Slagle, Melanie Gass, Gretchen O'Hare, and the list goes on and on and on. So that to me is, one of the major benefits of being an IAMCP member, being able to get up in front and close to executives with, Microsoft. And had it not have been for the IAMCP, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So let me go on and introduce our panelists. So I get the proud distinction of introducing everyone, and I'm going to start with Justin Slagle, who I've come to know very well over the last 5 years. He presented the last 2 years at our executive roundtables at the Microsoft, Inspire conference, and I would have to say that Justin probably presented more valuable information at this year's Inspire conference that partners were able to use than any other presenter. And that's not to take anything away from presenters like Gabriella Schuster and Brad Smith and David Willis, but what Justin did is he had a presentation on information that impacted partners on a day-to-day basis. And for those partners who weren't managed, they thought the information that was presented, was invaluable. So Justin, as I had mentioned, is currently with Microsoft Corporation, specializes in helping Microsoft partners grow their technology practice. He manages the top 23 CSP resellers in the Western region. He's very passionate about what he does. For those of you who know Justin, he's extremely passionate, and if you don't know him, you'll get to know him today, and you'll become best friends, with him. One of the best things about Justin is he sat on both sides of the table here. So prior to joining Microsoft in 2012, Justin was a co-owner and one of the largest Microsoft training firms, Quick Start Intelligence. He was the Western Region chairperson for the IAMCP and was the original founder of the IAMCP SoCal chapter, which is now the largest chapter in the United States. So kudos to Justin, not only for what he's done as a partner, but for what he's done as the at the IAMCP, and he really is a up and coming executive here at Microsoft. So along with being a Microsoft Gold Club winner and a Microsoft Worldwide Partner of the Year winner, Justin is the only person to receive both an IAMCP Partner of the Year award, which was in 2012 as a partner, and then he also received the Prometheus Award, who we give an award to the Microsoft employee who goes out of their way really to help the IAMCP. So that was in 2013. So we're very honored to have Justin with us today to participate in this roundtable, and it's great because he not only was a partner, works for Microsoft, and he's done what all of us on this call have done, and he started from scratch. Our next panelist, who I also know personally, Carolyn Grow, and if you haven't met Carolyn, she's a superstar, one of the best networkers I know. She knows everybody knows her, but she is the VP of Sales and Marketing at LawToolBox. It's a legal SaaS platform that transforms Teams, Outlook, and SharePoint into a legal suite for lawyers that's sold through AppSource. I have actually referred business, to her. So whenever I meet, law firms that are looking for office, productivity, Carolyn Grow is always one of the first people on our mind to be able to refer. She's presented at local IAMCP meetings, specifically, in the New York, metro area. So I've seen her presentations, come to know, her product. So, Carolyn, prior to working at LawToolBox, she worked for IBM in Tokyo, managing Asia Pacific distribution, and was one of the first Western hires in the Sharam Aluminum. Fun fact for Carolyn, she speaks Japanese and French, and her English is okay. So very honored to have Carolyn Grow on the panelist today. Now, Tom, who I only met this year at the Microsoft Inspire conference, and the only reason I met him because he was an award winner, and I said, listen, I need to get to know this guy. He's the CEO of Andosi, a Microsoft Gold partner, which for over 30 years has specialized in the design, implementation, integration of business solutions for a wide variety of businesses. Andosi specifically focused on providing Microsoft solutions, including Dynamics 365, Dynamics ERP accounting, systems, workflows, and custom solutions. And our own Sandra Knight, who did the introduction and did the poll, is part of the Andosi team. So I knew of Andosi, but I didn't know of Tom. And once I saw that he was an award winner, I said, I really got to get to know this guy, because if he won an award, then there's got to be something, special there. So honored to have Tom, an IAMCP award winner, here with us this morning. So with that said, I'm going to turn this over to our own John Rivers, who is going to be the moderator for the panelists today. And John is going to start by asking the question. So John, over to you.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for the great introductions for everyone on the panel. And thanks for everyone for joining us today. And I'm just going to jump straight in there. And Justin, again, thanks for joining us today. Justin, I actually have a two-part question for you straight out of the gate here. What drove you to start the IMCP chapter back a few years in the SoCal, and now you're part of the Microsoft group? Why do you continue to invest in the chapter and the IMCP as a whole?
Yeah, great questions, John. So for me, it all started at before Inspire, it was called WPC, Worldwide Partner Conference. And in 2009, the event was in Houston, Texas. And I remember there were tons of people who were walking around with right underneath their badge, it said IMCP, and I had no idea what the heck that was. So I started doing some research and found out that it was local partner communities. And so I went onto the website and I saw that there was a chapter in NorCal, and there was a chapter in LA and Orange County, and there was a chapter in San Diego. And so I just signed up for all of them. And I didn't know anything, but I knew, okay, well, I want to be part of any type of partner organization, because that's going to help me grow my business. And so I signed up for them, and I got an email back saying, well, there really isn't a NorCal chapter, and there really isn't a LA Orange County chapter, so we're going to refund your money for those. And there is a San Diego chapter, so go ahead and you can go to their meeting. So I went down to San Diego, and there was it was a breakfast meeting. It was about an hour and a half drive, but it was an 8 a.m. meeting at the Microsoft office. I showed up, and there were maybe 4 other people there, and they had a couple of bottled waters for everybody as our breakfast. And we just chatted. It was kind of cool, but I thought, okay, well, I think I can do bigger and better things. So I talked to some people at the IMCP, and they said, well, if you want, you can start up a chapter in the LA Orange County area. We would love that. And so I called up about 8 of my closest partners that I had and said, hey, we've got this opportunity. Let's see what we can do with it. And they were all on board, and it's just been a fantastic ride ever since. So we grew the chapter within about 18 months from those 8 people or so. We grew it to a little over 100 people within about 18 months. And the partnering that has come from the group at that point and since has just been phenomenal. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. From the Microsoft side, to me, what I would say is that there's no better way of scaling our message than when we get in front of groups of partners. And the partners that are engaged with IAMCP, we know are partners who truly are ready to hear the message and want to implement the message and want to give feedback about the message and want to be partners with us. And so we love going to IAMCP meetings and engaging with those partners. I have a saying that I live by that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And sometimes when you talk to partners who are not engaged with groups like IAMCP, they're just not ready. But we know that partners who are in IAMCP, who are coming to events and coming to meetings and engaging with other partners, those partners are ready. And so we want to help engage with those partners and up-level those partners as best we can. And so that's why we continue to invest our time and resources into helping IAMCP partners.
Thanks, Justin. It's a great story. I don't think I'd had, in all the years I've known you, I don't think I've actually got to know that full story of how you got the SoCal chapter. So thanks for sharing that.
Yep.
Carolyn, how have you seen the IAMCP assist you in the growth of your business?
So it's really been an incredible journey. I'll just share how I got involved and then talk through how that's helped expand our business. So my first exposure to IAMCP was also at the Inspire conference. I guess 5 years ago, I was there for product meetings with some Microsoft engineering folks and wandered into the exhibit hall and was pulled in. Honestly, I was pulled in to attend by a lot of the women in tech, now called Diversity Inclusion Group, saying, hey, you've got to come to this luncheon and you need to become part of IAMCP and let us tell you about that. Actually, Michelle pulled me in on that one. And honestly, if I could look at everything that our journey with Microsoft over the last 5 years and the most impactful experience and exposure that we've had, I guess, beyond the engineering team, because those have been key folks for our company as an ISV, it's really been IAMCP, and it's a couple of different angles. So after coming back from Inspire, got involved with the Denver organization, the Denver IAMCP group. Felt a little bit uncomfortable at first. I wandered into a room with a bunch of MSPs, and I'm the only ISV in the room. And full circle, the way Microsoft has kind of re-envisioned industry-specific solutions for customers. I can't think of a better place to be building a community and developing relationships. I've really come at the IAMCP group as a group of people to learn from and talk to and share ideas with. Nobody's a jack of all trades with all of these different components of Microsoft products. And I've learned and seen that everybody's really in the organization, getting to know each other and saying, well, this is something I'm strong in. Oh, I know Teams. I've been doing a lot of different things with Teams. So I would say it's the community side. Networking seems more, going after an end game, like a business deal. And I feel like IAMCP is really more knowledge-based and learning who's got what strength and how can we work together. So that's been a really wonderful experience. Justin Slagle was the first person that I met. SoCal was, I guess, the second meeting that I went to. And my managed partner at the time connected me with Justin, who is, an amazing go-to guy who gets stuff done. And honestly, Jeff, he was the first person I thought of when I was doing an event in New York, and I had the architect for Microsoft Teams flying out to New York City, and there were all these different events going on with a legal event, and I thought, okay, how can I really, make this a moment and make it valuable to Microsoft and to the IAMCP group that I work with. And I reached out and said, Jeff, can you help me pull this event together? And of course, he jumped in and made it happen. More recently, these executive roundtables that Jeff alluded to earlier. Justin, I'm so sad I did not make your session. Wish I'd been there. Maybe I can get the slides. But the exposure as an IAMCP member, I can't imagine anybody not joining IAMCP, even if, just simply to be part of all of those different sessions. The information you get, the relationships you develop are really incredible opportunities. So can't say enough. I'll just end it with, I was introduced via my relationship with a variety of people at Microsoft. I was introduced to Voices for Innovation, which I view as a sister organization with a growing, partnership, always has been, but lots more that each organization is doing together. And I really think that if you haven't heard about Voices for Innovation, it's a great relationship with the IAMCP group to really get involved in your community and expand into your state and federal legislators, advocating for important technology issues and privacy, cybersecurity, STEM, diversity and inclusion, and all those topics are really what the partnership between IAMCP and VFI have really been tackling.
That's a great story, Carolyn. Tom, didn't leave you till last here, but on this question, I know that you were part of the IAMCP actually way back, and you took some time out, and then you came back into the organization. But this year, you won the America's IAMCP P2P Award. What have you done differently this time around with your involvement with the IAMCP?
Hey, John, thanks for the question. It's not so much, let me answer it this way. The involvement's different because I think the organization's different. When I was in very first time on our local chapter in Tampa, I felt it was more one or two large partners taking over the meetings and kind of saying, hey, work with us. We're the people you want to work with. So that really wasn't what I was interested in. Then when you started up the Tampa chapter again, you reached out and I said, okay, John, I've known John for quite a while. Maybe it makes sense to go ahead and look at it a bit. And I looked at it to spend some time watching it going. Then I realized it really isn't about, let's go ahead and do business together. It was about trusting each other. And once I learned to trust other partners and realized we can really enhance each other's businesses, that's where I really started working more and more with partners, realized that we have great people in our organization, we have great products that we deliver, but we are just such a small part of the Microsoft world. And there are so many people, so many partners out there we can work in conjunction with. And that's kind of what we're doing now. And the other side is your involvement and our involvement is more on a national level and sometimes even international, but more of a national level, just regional, which is also very helpful because when we find other folks, special niche, other partners that are helpful, and we work together that way. So it's kind of really just reaching out and trusting the people that are in AIMCP really want to work with other partners to enhance their own businesses and each other's businesses. That's kind of where I come from.
No, I think that's definitely good points. And I think it's also I think it was a good piece that actually we ran into the other day, actually personally, when you were trying to look for someone out in, was it the Barbados? And I happened to reconnect you to someone who actually remembered once we reconnected from someone from the past that possibly could help you, right? So
correct. Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's all about those connections in the IAMCP as well. The next question is actually to all three of you. If you were to give to the audience here the number one reason why an IAMCP partner should become an IAMCP member, what would it be? And I'm just going to throw that. I'll start with Justin as the first person, and we'll just walk the same order again.
Sounds good. So for me, this is a pretty easy one. The number one reason would be just to stay in alignment with what's going on. There's so much stuff, there's so many resources, there's so many people to know at Microsoft that there's no way to keep up. And I can tell you that because I work at Microsoft, they've been in this channel for 13 years, and I can't keep up. So if I can't keep up, I know there's no partner out there who can keep up by themselves. So I love the idea of being able to kind of share resources with other partners, being able to piggyback and work with other partners. But I would also say that being an IAMCP member and going to the local chapter meetings, that's really just the door that's open. What I see is the real opportunity with IAMCP is having some meetings in between meetings, meeting with other partners on a one-on-one basis, having some coffee chats or like a live type fireside chat where you can go meet with other members and find out how you can partner together, find out how you can pick their brain. Because ultimately, I heard an IAMCP member say about 10 years ago, one of our first presentations, he said, a lot of times you hear people say, it's all about who you know. And he said, but really, I think that it's more about who knows you than about who you know. So it was a great presentation and a great twist. You need to make sure that a lot of people know who you are, because you never know what's gonna happen. I've seen people who've bounced around from opportunity to opportunity, and because IAMCP is there, they're able to continue to grow their careers and do different things. I've seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions happen between partners. There's so much opportunity, but the number one thing is just being able to keep up with what's going on.
What would you say,
Okay.
Carolyn?
So I would echo what Justin said. I guess my number one would be, I do think I learned so much about what's going on just listening to what everybody says about their experiences at these meetings, whether I'm at events like Inspire or whether I'm at my local Denver events or traveling to another one. But I would say even more than the information that gets shared, it's about, for me, I think the opportunity is, IAMCP is uniquely positioned as a community organization that's all driving to the same end game, right? We're all looking at how can we help our customers digitally transform, and luckily every customer has such a broad breadth of what they need to transform. Being able to partner and learn how you can help and fill in the gaps, and learn from what other organizations are trying to do to solve their customers' pain points, and figuring out how to go at that solution together. The world of P2P and now P2P2P. Some people talk about P2P being partners and systems integrators or MSPs with ISVs, and I think that now there's bringing a couple of ISVs together with partners and figuring out how to start that conversation with a customer to go, start a project with a client, as opposed to having it out there as a idea, and trying to talk a client into digitally transforming with teams, when you can have a very specific idea that can launch that when you're connecting with people in your organization that in your geography, and you can go at it together. I think you can get further than trying to go at it on your own. I hear Gabriella Schuster talk a lot about voice, finding your voice, using your voice, and amplifying your voice, and it's really stuck in my head. And I really feel like there's no better organization out there to really amplify your voice and get further and develop, get closer to your end goal of, solving problems and building your business and, partnering with people. So I'll just hand it over to you.
So that's handing to me, Carolyn. This is Tom. So yeah, I'm hearing. No problem. So a couple things. Being the voice of the partner is what the one I think you just said, Carolyn, and learning and learning from each other. But my number one kind of reiterates what I just said before: the ability to know there's teams of people out there across the country, across the world, that if I need something, I could find help I need, and we've done that quite a bit. And we've worked with companies in California, in Houston, in Tennessee, that we just need help various places and reach out, and we've become actually business partners, not mergers or anything like that. There are people out there we lean on quite a bit, and I think that's the number one thing for me at AMCP. Gives me resources to what I need when I need them around the Microsoft world, in addition to everything locally too.
Yeah, and also just listening to what you guys were all saying, and I've heard it over and over, which was the executive roundtables. And I know that I've talked to other people, and it's like, I know people would just become, one of the reasons is their number one reason becoming members is because of the executive roundtables, and that's not necessarily the number ones for you guys, but I know that's probably in your top fives as well, right? Those are strong reasons, and Jeff was mentioning it. You guys have mentioned it. That brings a lot of extra value. Justin, I have another question for you. Justin, if a Microsoft partner missed the opportunity in just talking about roundtables, these executive roundtables and other areas that the IAMCP involved, where we pulled in execs like Gabriella, Toby, Brent, and many others during Inspire, where else could they possibly this year see and interact with them?
What a great question. Thanks, John. So IAMCP International is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and kudos to everybody, congratulations to everybody. But this year is also a monumental year for us in Southern California, as it's our 10-year anniversary. As I mentioned earlier, it started in 2009, and it kind of just popped up on us last year, and we thought about, wow, this is it's going to be 10 years. And we started thinking about all of the amazing things, all the partnerships, all the friendships, everything else that had happened over those last 10 years. And for the small group of us who had been in it for such a long period of time, I mean, it was a kind of a tearful moment where we started thinking, wow, 10 years, wow, time flies. Wow, look at what we've done, look at what we've accomplished. And so we decided, okay, well, let's celebrate this. Let's have a party. Let's bring partners together. Let's share our story. Let's make something of this. And I personally did not want it to become like a Dave and Buster's type pizza party where we just get together and just say, hey, it's been 10 years. I wanted us to come together and actually create something that was going to be a phenomenal experience for our current members, for our future members, to be able to share our stories with members from across the country. And so that's what we've done. So we have an event coming up in October 24th. We'll be in Irvine, California, where we have brought in Gabriella Schuster, Brent Combast, who Jeff talked about earlier, who's our U.S. General Manager, One Commercial Partner, Beth Kavanaugh, who is our U.S. Sales Director on One Commercial Partner. We've got our U.S. CTO, David Totten, who's going to be coming to our event. They'll be delivering keynotes, as well as we'll have some executive roundtables, very similar to what we had at Inspire. And just recently, we've had so many people from Microsoft who've registered to come to our event. We have architects, we have engineers, we have licensing specialists, we have partner development managers, we have technical account managers. We have so many different types of experts who are coming in that we decided, okay, let's not just make this a party anymore. Let's make it a full one-day conference. And so in the morning time from 9 to 12, we'll have education sessions. They'll be led by our Microsoft architects and engineers from 9 to 12. We'll have advanced level sessions, as well as we'll have one-on-one level sessions that are more partner marketing type. So we do have some of our marketing gurus coming down from Redmond as well, who'll be talking about, hey, will tell us about the plays in the box to help us get our business started, or what are the rebates and incentives that we should all be applying for, or what are the programs that we can apply for to get some of this $1 billion of funding that Microsoft's pouring in. So it's going to be a phenomenal event, and hopefully you guys will be able to join us. We do have a special offer that we'll present to you guys in just a little bit, so just hang tight. But we'd love to see as many of you as possible to the events and come share an experience. Oh, and by the way, I've always wanted to give away a car. I've never been able to do it at an IAMCP meeting, but at this event, we will be giving away a car.
This all sounds amazing, Justin. With that, that's basically the fireside chat actually going to wrap up. But we're not wrapped up on this call yet, because we're going to talk about that offer. But before that, I'm going to hand over back the reins to Jeff just to wrap up on a couple of things. So with that, Jeff, it's back with you.
Yeah, thank you, John. So I was paying attention, diligent. I was taking notes during all of the answering of your questions. And, let me, instead of reading off what's on the slide here, I'll tell you what I heard. So if reasons to join the IAMCP, number one, if you want to grow your business. Number two, developing relationships. Referrals, and Tom mentioned trust, and trust is huge within the IAMCP. So working with other partners and trusting them. Justin mentioned, if you want to keep up with what's going on, this is one of the ways to do it. So there's just like information overload now, and you can't possibly read everything that is out there, and having meetings between meetings. Collecting with other partners, and one thing that that Carolyn Gross said is, amplifying your voice. So we want to amplify our voice. And then coming back to, Tom, and this was so apropos with him being the IAMCP America's P2P award winner, he said, partner to partner, networking with other Microsoft partners and leveraging those resources was, key. So Tom, that was, that was perfect. And then, Justin here concluded with the 10th year SoCal anniversary party. So for those of you who were at Inspire and did not attend, the executive roundtables and didn't get the opportunity to meet, Gabriella, didn't get the opportunity to meet Brett Combest and Beth Kavanaugh and all those other people that Justin mentioned, this is your next opportunity, and this is a rare opportunity to have these executives come down to Irvine, California, and participate in not only this, celebration, but as Justin mentioned, it's actually going to be a mini conference here. So how do we join the IAMCP? And we actually made it easier for you now. And our own John Rivers was, responsible for this, and, consolidating our websites and making one website worldwide for all IAMCP members. It's very, very easy. So if we want to join, just go to www.iamcp.org. Okay, so we made it simple, so you don't have to worry about the US site versus the worldwide, site. If you're not near a physical chapter, we have a chapter in every major city across the US. We have a goal this year of growing to 52 chapters. We're well over 40 right now. I think we're at about 45 chapters. But if, per se, you're not in an area that has a chapter which is within driving distance, we do have the virtual chapter. And the virtual chapter, just like any other chapter, meets once a month. There's excellent content, and everybody is welcome to join. In fact, we have very high attendance rates because not only do people that are not located near a chapter attend the virtual chapter meetings, but we have members who do belong to chapters in major cities who also attend the virtual chapter meetings because the content is so good. So for $195 a year annually, this to me is a no-brainer. Okay, so that would be a cost of a couple lunches. You'll meet a lot of great people. We mentioned the benefits here. Information overload is at its peak right now. If you're not a managed partner, and the majority of the people here are not managed partners, we'll get you in front of the Microsoft team. We'll, Justin was just talking about content that we'll talk about leveraging at this conference in October. So for those of you who are not managed, you'll get the same information that the managed partners are getting. So to me, it's a no-brainer. $195 per year, guarantee you get your money back immediately. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Justin, and he has a very important announcement and offer to make.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So as I mentioned, we're really excited about our 10th anniversary event that's coming up. It's turned into a full one-day conference. We've got some really special guests from the Microsoft executive team. We mentioned Gabriella, who's our corporate vice president, Brent Combest, our U.S. general manager, and Beth Kavanaugh, who's our U.S. sales director. We'll all be delivering keynotes, as well as about 30 other Microsoft people. There's about 500 partners who are going to attend this event. We'll probably have about 35 different expo sponsors for you guys to go out and build your business. It's going to be a phenomenal event. But I worked with Jeff and John right before we got on the webinar here to work out a special offer for you guys. And what we would like to offer to you is that if you are not currently an IAMCP member, It's the regular price to attend our event in October is $249. But if you sign up for the regular price, $249, we will include your first year of IAMCP membership with that $249. So as Jeff mentioned, it's $195 to join IAMCP. It's $249 to come to this event. So it's almost a no-brainer. If you'd like to get some great information, great content, meet some Microsoft executives, understand some of the things that we shared at the executive executive roundtables at Inspire, this is the event that you really want to come to. And just pay the regular full price, $249. You get to come to the conference and you get your full year of IAMCP membership. If you are already a IAMCP member, we have an offer for you as well. So if you'd like to come to the event and you're listening today, you can sign up for just $99. If you go to the IAMCPparty.com is our website and use the promo code IAMCP99, it'll unlock a $99 discount code for you to register for the event. For the special offer, it is so new that we're building out the process to help you guys. It'll be a special process, but either contact the us.membership@imcp.org or my email is jslagle@microsoft.com, and we will get that worked out over the next couple of days and get you guys signed up if that's something you're interested in.
And with that said, we're actually going to open up the lines or open up the chat for questions and answers. And this is your opportunity to actually ask questions to the panel.
Yeah, and this is Sandra again. As people are putting in any of their questions, I have had a couple come through during the presentation for specific people and then just in general. This one was for you, Tom. What types of partners have you done business with?
Well, we focus on Dynamics 365, the CRM product and their ERP, but we've focused on MSPs quite a bit in both Tampa and in our New England areas. We have some knowledge of SharePoint, but we are not experts at it, so we've worked with SharePoint partners. We actually work, even though we're CRM, we've actually worked with other CRM partners as well. It turns that we have some pretty deep knowledge and some pretty amazing customer stories, and we'll go deep and do the integration and stuff like that, or do some custom programming that needs to be done or design. So pretty much those are keys, but we find everybody, any other partner, as we focus on the business products, the Microsoft Dynamics products, a lot of people come to us that don't do those things. So, but again, mostly MSPs, other partners with other specialties such as SharePoint, and then even other partners with our ERP specialties and CRM.
Great. This one, Justin, this one was for you. In general, what is the opinion of IAMCP within Microsoft as a whole?
I can't speak for Microsoft as a whole. I can speak for our One Commercial Partner team and my leadership team and my fellow PDMs across the country that we love IAMCP because it helps bring together a group of partners, whether it's managed partners or non-managed partners. And so for non-managed partners, it's a great way for those partners to stay engaged. If it's a new up-and-coming partner, it's a way for us to kind of keep our eyes on who those partners are. To give a great example, in San Diego, there was a partner who they merged 3 companies together. They are a great partner. If it wasn't for IAMCP, I would have never known who they were. I would have never known the opportunity that was there. And because they were so heavily engaged in IAMCP, I was able to pick them up as a managed partner for this fiscal year, FY20. So there are those opportunities for us that we can see, hey, who are the up and coming partners we want to engage with, but also for our managed partners to be able to share and give back. We love that our managed partners are engaged in IAMCP because it helps us continue to help cultivate what I call the Microsoft economy, right? Because it's not just Microsoft, but it's partners. Gabriella's pitch a couple of years ago was that we are all one Microsoft, partners and employees and everything. So when we all help each other, everybody wins as we continue to go out into the market and sell more Microsoft. If somebody's on Microsoft 365, it's a great opportunity to cross-sell into CRM and bring somebody like Tom in. If it's a legal law firm, then it's an opportunity for us to bring somebody like Carolyn in. So when we all work together, that's what we love, is that we can create more together.
Great. I guess, Jeff, I guess this one would be for you. Can you be a member of more than one chapter, and do you have to pay for each?
Sure. Okay, great question. So we're pretty fair as far as that is concerned. So if you are a member of any chapter, you're allowed to attend chapter meetings for any other chapters, within that, within that region. So if, for example, you are a member of the SoCal chapter, you're welcome to attend San Diego, NorCal, and any of the other chapters, within the U.S. And we do encourage that, especially when you're traveling.
Great. Well, let's see. Carolyn, you haven't spoken yet, so I'll give this one to you. Are most partners open to working together, or do they consider competition?
So from an ISV standpoint, I am not going to be running into the competition side of things, because I think that question is more at an MSP level, but I'd still love to comment on that. And from a partnering perspective, a moment ago, Tom talked about what he's doing with Dynamics, and our solution is a Teams-based solution, and we're actually seeking Dynamics partners. So I know what phone call I'll be making after this session today. I believe, and I believe that the MSPs in the room that are attending the sessions that I go to are really there helping each other figure out what everybody's individual strengths are. Because I really do believe in the whole Microsoft ecosystem. There are we have a strength in Teams, and our market is now every corporate legal department. So we used to focus on law firms. Now we're trying to help every organization launch a Teams engagement in any corporate managed account. And I think that MSPs have strengths in SharePoint, or they have strengths in cybersecurity. And I think when they connect with each other and learn from each other, they end up finding ways to partner and help each other.
So Sandra, I think this question might actually be for you. I just noticed in the chat window, and it could be you or even Jeff. Can the IMCP help new companies to connect with potential resellers? So it's probably more of an ISV of their solutions. How can the IMCP help there?
So John, I could take that. So one of the things that we have launched, and this was last year, was a partner directory that we call the IAMCP Index, and all of our members get a free listing within the index. So every partner within the IAMCP is connected. So if you're an ISV and you want all the partners to know about your solution, then the best way to do is to create a listing in the index. And John, maybe you could put that in the chat window here so that people can go and check it out. But if you want people to know about your ISV solution, to me, one of the best ways to do it is through the index.
And then also I would add to that is that we also have other opportunities from sponsorship opportunities to actually drive a lot more, should we say, brand awareness as well. I would say that's probably another way to get awareness as well.
Right, and I will jump in, Jeff, as I am actually the sponsorship chair as well for the Americas, and I'm obviously always out there looking for different companies to partner with us and become sponsors at either local levels, regional or national. And part of that, though, is also looking within the IMCP base of members as well. I look to a lot of our members throughout the U.S. And the Americas, because a lot of them really would benefit from getting that, getting their voice out there and getting themselves known, and becoming a Microsoft, being a Microsoft partner, being a member of IMCP, and then sponsoring some of these local or even national level events gives them more exposure than they would get as just being a member. So you're right, there's a lot of different ways. The index is great. I use the index personally. I know Tom uses it whenever we're looking for partners throughout the US or abroad. And also a sponsorship is a great way to get your name out there as well.
So I see that this is probably our last question of the day, because I'm seeing that we're a little bit over on our time. So I see that someone is asking that that they're struggling with their team for their team to actually understand what certifications to get, or go through the certification of the certification site of Microsoft. How could the IAMCP help them find the right resources to help with their internal growth? Maybe Justin.
Jeff.
Maybe
I can help
Yeah,
answer.
Justin or Jeff.
Do you want to jump in, Justin? I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, sure. So there's a couple things. So of course, this is the exact reason why I was saying that, like, our team at Microsoft really loves IAMCP, because this is a way that we can help share information that it's one partner asking, but we can then share the information, and there can be several partners who take advantage of it. It's also a way that if there are other partners who are in the group, that they can continue to help share. But at Microsoft, we have several resources. And in fact, we have a partner skills initiative that was announced at Inspire, where we've got teams of people who are going around the country helping train partners, helping them skill up, as well as we have a full virtual team that you can engage with at any time, who can help put together training plans on any Microsoft product, any cloud product or SQL Server, and help you engage and do more. So there's a couple things that I'd recommend. So one is what we call our partner technical consultants. And so you can go to the URL aka.ms/ask, ASK, PTC, like partner technical consultant. So aka.ms/ask PTC. And when you go there, you create a ticket, and then you will have one of our experts who can reach out to you and help put together a learning plan for you. Another thing that you can do is keep up with our SMB Insider team. And so there's several different ways that you can register. They've got monthly calls, they've got a Yammer site, they've got emails that they send out on a regular basis that have our training hot sheets and so forth. So I definitely recommend you can just do a Bing search or a Google search for SMB Insider. That we can provide some resources later, but there's several different ways that you can engage with that team. And so those are the two main ways that I would say, if you want to get your team ramped up, ask PTC and SMB Insider.
That's good feedback. And what I've also found is that, and this could be chapter level, and it also can be from a national level, and this is like a webinar principle. When we have our members who are struggling with things like this is what drives sometimes the content that happens at either a chapter level or at a webinar level for all our members. So as we get and see situations where people are struggling to find things, then we'll go and work with Microsoft to actually go and help resolve it. So that's how we go and look at it as well. So Justin gave you a way to go and resolve it on a one-to-one, but we can also go in there and help it when we see there's many people struggling as well. So with that said, we appreciate everyone joining us today. We appreciate our speakers joining us, and we appreciate their taking time out of their day. And thank you. We look forward to you joining us. And if you have any additional questions, like we said, just reach out to us at any time, and we're more than happy to answer them. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.